Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Mass Debaters, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite movie review-based podcast. This is An Evening at the Movies. I am your incredibly excited. I'm not even a co-host this week because her's not here, so we're not even going to give her credit. So I'm going to host the whole freaking thing, and she will like it. Not going to lie, though. We miss the co-host. We hope she'll be back next week, and I know she will be back next week, but we miss her. So hurry back, Amanda. But yes, this is An Evening at the Movies. I am Kasey. Um, you guys all know the drill by now. Stale popcorn, watered down sodas, favorite movies, why we love them, and all of that good stuff. But because I'm not going to sit here and talk to myself for the next hour, I had to bring in amazing, awesome guest because he is an amazing, awesome person, and we make podcast magic every time he's on the show anyway. So, welcome back to the show, Mr. Chancy Grife.
Good evening.
That was not your normal hello. I was not expecting that.
No, but
Although
I
I
mean,
could,
I can't not. This is like that's fucking blasphemous.
well, true, because there has to be at least some reference to that type of a line at some point in the show, and we may as well just rip the band-aid off and get to it as we speak.
Oh no, I've already got my line for real though. For oh, dude, if I was like, let's see, if I was like, I don't know, like anywhere between 15 and 20 years younger, oh man, it'd be fucking over. It would be over because there's been so much time since this movie came out. I'd be so fucking debonair up in this motherfucker. Anyway, I'm sorry, as you were saying.
1992 horror porn. That's what we're discussing this week. Well, not necessarily horror porn, but we'll get to that. But for those of you who don't know, we are smack dab, literally smack dab, in the middle of Halloween Horror Fest 2024, and we've talked about a little bit about some Dream Warriors. We've talked about going back to college with Ghostface last week. Um, we've got a big conclusion planned for next week. But before we can get to that, we have to go back way, way back in the Wayback Machine. And we're going to talk a little bit about one of the OG horror classics of all time. We're going to talk about Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before I get to that, there's actually a new segment for An Evening at the Movies that I would like to debut just
Oh
as a
right, yeah, yeah.
kind just as kind of sort of a, it won't necessarily be an every week kind of thing, but definitely something that when we welcome new guests on the show, that we do. That way, our listeners can get a sense of who the guests are and get to know them a little bit better. So it's kind of sort of, if you watch The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, kind of sort of like the Colbert questionnaire. Or if you've ever watched like the Inside the Actor Studio thing, like along that same line as the questionnaire that he does on that show as well. So, are you ready for your questionnaire, Mr. Chancy Greif?
I was always told growing up that if you stay ready means you ain't got to get ready.
Damn right. What is the best sandwich?
The best sandwich? That's kind of a trick question, sir, because that then would mean that we have to break down the exact understanding of our own parameters of what constitutes as a sandwich. So, what parameters are we
Uh,
talking here? Are we talking like is a hot dog a sandwich? Is a like what's the what's the
so,
parameters here?
my general rule for these questions are interpret the definition of the question to be whatever you want it to be. The more creative you get,
Okay.
obviously, the more entertaining the questions are going to be.
Okay, so well in my opinion, what is the greatest sandwich of all time? Nah, well yes, BLT is solid. So girl Casey's answer is BLT. No, I actually do know the answer to this question. So apparently, without my knowledge, it had been brought back. But as a child, I used to go to the A&W fucking franchise. You know how they used to have like the restaurants and shit, and they'd have the on
Mhm.
tap root beer and whatnot. Okay, so a long time ago, in a response to the Big Mac, they came out with this thing called the Matzo Burger. And it was essentially the same as a Big Mac, minus the fact that they had mozzarella cheese patties or slices on the cheeseburger, rather than American, as well as I think it was Thousand Island still, but it may have been a different like whatever. But it was fucking amazing, especially paired with the uh with that like more it was more of a homemade recipe on tap, not that in a bag bullshit they have nowadays. But if I was gonna have to
I
like
know exactly
real
what you're talking.
yeah, but like if I had like a no ability to put any time to get extremely delicatescent about it or anything like that, then I would say the matzo burger. Also, I think it's now called the Papa Burger or the Big Papa Burger or whatever the fuck nowadays. I'll go with that one as a generalized default.
And again, girl Casey chimed in with the BLT.
Yeah. And if I had to do
So,
as a if I had to come in with a close second, it'd be just a regular grilled cheese. But I'm going with the Big Papa. I
oh,
love
grilled
my
cheese is
common beef.
a childhood classic. Chancy Greif, what is the scariest animal?
The scariest animal.
Hmm.
Ooh. So that's a very tricky question because I would have to say, in my opinion, um, the scariest animal. In a lot of ways, anytime I answer the any of these questions, it would almost have to go by like a genre based thing. Because like if we're talking, big animals in the animal kingdom, then I'm going to go with like a hippopotamus because hippopotamus gives no fucks. If I'm going to go with like anything in like honey badger because honey badger also gives no fucks. And then like all the way down to uh like a psionic or whatever they're called. Basically, it's the type of viral parasite that you get in your brain from mad cow disease, prion. That's it. So like anything from a prion to a fucking honey badger to a hippopotamus, or let's not fucking be sleeping on them geeses. All right, them fucking geeses ain't no joke. So
Oh wow! I should have known that you were going to come up with some creative freaking answers.
well, I mean, I was the wrong person to fucking pick for this to guinea pig it on.
Well, I mean, ideally it was going to be you and Amanda both, but um, I don't know what the hell Miss I'm going to the Eras tour is doing today, but she's not
Going to the
available
heiress,
anymore.
going to the heiress tour.
Yeah,
She kind of,
evidently
she kind of told you.
she. Yeah, evidently she's got tickets to go see Miss Tay Tay perform live.
Oh, I thought she'd already went to that
So
tour.
no, she went and saw the movie in the theater.
Oh, so she went and watched a movie about a tour.
Uh huh.
Okay.
We love the co-host and
Oh, I love. Yeah,
not.
no, I love Amanda. Amanda's great. She's a great person and everything. For me, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like I had a hard time wrapping my head around for just a moment that I would actually pay like movie theater prices of my hard-earned money to, go to a theater to watch a DVD version of a live album that would normally be cut by a artist for like, 20
Well,
bucks.
I mean,
It's all good though. I'm just
at the
playing.
end of the day,
She gonna be so mad.
to actually go and see that concert live and in person, I would probably almost rather spend the $20 to go see it in the freaking movie theater and not well, no, 'cause you can't beat a live
Right. No, I was gonna say I would argue
concert.
that point, but yeah, no, I would
But
have definitely argued that point.
when it comes to the actual prices for an actual seat at a Taylor Swift concert, I don't know if I'm willing to separate that much money from my freaking wallet.
Anyway,
Um,
eh,
let's see. Question number 3.
yes.
Chancy Grife, what is one thing that you own that you really should throw out?
Hmm.
Herein lies the beauty of this because I could have easily warned you and, you know, vetted the questions with you prior to,
No,
but
I get
the fact
that.
that we didn't do that, it it's definitely like the shit's coming out of left field, so it's not like you have time to
Come
prepare
up with
your
a
answer.
proper
The shit's just
answer.
coming au natural.
So, what do I own that I should get rid of? Um, I'm gonna go with nothing, mostly just because of the fact that I, up until maybe like the past like 4 or 5 years, had really lived an ultra minimalist lifestyle. So everything that I had ever kept either had like a sentimental value to it or functionality or a combination of the two or something like that. But Now that I've kind of extrapolated on some possessions and whatnot, honestly, what do I own that I should be getting rid of is probably a massive chunk of my record collection that I don't need. Like as far as like not general albums that I would listen to, but it came in a bundle for super cheap, so I just bought them.
Oh,
That's really
yeah,
about
that makes
that's really
sense.
about it.
Okay,
Question four.
so I got two more questions for you, really quick, and I
Let's do
feel
it.
like these two are probably going to be the easiest ones for you. What is
Okay.
your favorite curse word?
Okay, so hold on. We also need to quantify the parameters of curse word. Now, are we uh are we talking in general like, shit, or are we talking like fucking like our favorite derogatory terms? Like what? Like what are we going on here? Like what's your
You can
favorite
be
slur?
you can be as creative as you want with your answer.
Uh you know what? I'm gonna go with goy.
I've actually heard that come out of your mouth a couple of times. Would you like to define what that means for the listeners who don't know?
A goy is, for like, the watered down version of it, for the most part, is anyone who isn't of the Jewish faith. So it's literally the most inclusive because it means literally everyone else.
Uh, and
But
last
if
but
I
not
well,
good.
I was gonna say,
Go
hold
ahead.
hold on. If that doesn't qualify and I have to choose like an actual like swear word, obviously my it's gonna be fuck, because it's literally my filler word. Some people say I say fucking.
Well, and anybody who's listened to a Chancy Grife meltdown on an evening at the movies is fully aware that he just up and disappears out of nowhere right before the last question. But I have faith that he will be coming back. And hi, people, how are you doing? It's nice to be here and all alone and all decked out on. There's Chancy Grife. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It booted me. Like it just went boop. Like all I heard was something about a rant, and then it just went boop.
Well, that okay. So back up to what I was saying, though. But
Yes,
for anybody
yes.
who's been here, they know and witnessed a Chancy Grife rant. They know that he is very fluent in the fucks. He
I
has
mean
zero of them to give.
that is true. I would have to say though, if I was to choose fuck, the reason for it is because it's one of the few swear words that can be used in basically every usable form of like grammatical context in the English language. Like it can be an adjective, it can be an adverb.
It literally can be peppered into a sentence in any way, shape, or form that you feel like you can use
Fuck yeah, it can.
it. See?
And you said question number 5.
All right. So this one specifically is related to this show as well as the horror squad itself.
Okay.
You cannot pick Halloween, Nightmare on Elm
Okay.
Street, or
Okay.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
All right.
Chancy Grife, what is your
Yeah.
favorite horror movie?
You fucked up though, bro.
Well, I have a
You
feeling
fucked
I
up real.
know what your answer is going to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, you fucked up real bad because you left one franchise off the list that could easily be like my, you know, go to, my insta go to. but I'll give you
So
that
I
one,
left.
and then I'll give you that one, and then I'll give you the alternate. So the one you fucked up on was
So
Hellraiser, because like
so when I came up with those three, it was basically
the
we've all
amalgamation of our
had
three
horror.
favorites.
Well, yeah, the whole horror squad in its entirety has had the discussion, and
Yep,
we all know what Amanda's number one favorite is. We all know what mine and Luana's favorite
yours.
is. We all know what
Hmm.
Luana's too,
Yeah. Oh
and we
wait,
all
yeah,
know what
I
yours
was
is.
agreeing.
So you know, I wanted to take
However,
those three out of the equation, and you know,
I will
allow
also
other great horror movies to have some
I will
recognition as well.
I will also remove Hellraiser from the list because that's just too much of a gimme. That's like a mulligan. Uh,
I mean, it really
as
is.
far as as far as off the beaten path, like if I like, and also again, you're killing me, Smalls. Because like I could break this down by genre if I wanted to. Like if I'm looking for just like a little ha ha laugh on a slasher bit, Hatchet. The Hatchet series, that's hilarious. It's ridiculous, it's stupid, it's got all the horror tropes, it's the perfect slasher. It's got Kane Hodder, basically being Jason but not Jason, and it's hilarious, but not gonna make that one my choice. My choice is gonna be D. Snyder's Strangeland.
Spoiler alert, possibly or possibly not, but more than likely possibly.
Well,
Coming soon on any
I
movies.
I actually didn't do that on purpose either because, like, really, in all honesty, taking all the other like not non-franchised base. If I'm gonna pick like an obscure horror film, and I don't mean obscure like you know anybody can go out and find it. It's more so just it was never one that ever nobody ever really talks about it that much. Uh,
Well, spoiler alert, we'll be talking about it next week on An Evening at the Movies.
fuck yeah, that's fucking awesome. That is fucking
So,
awesome. But yeah, no, I really didn't do that on purpose. But yeah, no, the reason that I choose that one is mostly because of the fact of like it just being something that came from completely
mhm,
it was inspired by a completely separate medium of fucking entertainment. For fuck's sake, I just woke up and I'm having a stroke. But like
that's when we're digging it the most, Chancy Grife.
but yeah, no, it's like I said, you know, it was inspired by lyrics and circumstances, like lyrics from songs. I'm not gonna do too many spoilers since since like you said we're gonna be talking about it. I'll reserve all of that for when I go on my total
Next week.
fanboy rant. Yeah. You might want to set aside a swath of time for me to fanboy the fuck out of that.
So, spoiler alert, Chancy Grife will be doing the 90-second beat the clock challenge next week, trying to outline the plot in less than 90 seconds.
Oh, I mean, I could probably do that, but it would not do it any. It wouldn't be very good. It would do shit justice.
Well, I feel like with it being mine and Amanda's first time watching it,
Valid.
either one of the two of us doing it isn't going to do it justice either. So,
Also valid.
yeah.
Also valid.
So, with all of that said, that was definitely fun.
Yeah, dude, for sure. That's an interesting. I like that little. That's an interesting little thingy. I like it. It's a fun little game. You're muted. I can't hear you.
No, better.
Yep.
Yeah, there. Okay. So it definitely it's something we can do so that the listeners can get a sense of who the person is that's on the show and get to know them a little bit better. So it's not
Yeah,
like
for sure.
we're just random people out of thin air and expecting the listeners to accept that they're all knowing and all of that. Although, I mean, enough people have listened to Chancy Greif on the show that we know Chancy Greif is an expert in the field, and that's how it's going to go.
Expert expert in the field, equal also known as grew up having zero life.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm basically in the same boat that you were in growing up, and we grew up at the same time in cinematic history too. So
That is
that's what
true.
makes it that much
This
better. So,
is that is true.
well, and you got to throw the other half of the horror squad in there too. So, I mean,
Also
they're
valid.
all
Yeah,
they're
yeah. We all kind of actually covered that whole spectrum there.
we did. We are that fucking talented of movie fans because that's how we
Yeah.
fucking roll.
Well, I was also talking about
So
spectrums of time as well as like genre knowledge and the
mhm,
whole thing. That's really actually kind of cool. Never even really
it
thought about
really
that till you
is
pointed it out.
because
Yeah.
you know. So, are we ready to rip the band-aid off and get into the subject of this week's episode, sir?
I am.
So, like I said in the opening, we're here to discuss Bram Stoker's Dracula, which released on. Uh, I actually have this information in front of me. Friday, November 13th, 1992.
Oh ho
So
ho.
Happy Friday the 13th, people. Was directed by a gentleman by the name of Francis Ford Coppola, um,
Yeah, which is kind of out of the
who,
wheelhouse, really.
yeah, I mean, he's directed a lot of movies, but generally the three that he's going to be most remembered for are going to be Godfather 1, Godfather 2, and Godfather 3. This is totally not even anywhere near
What? No
either of
apocalypse
those
now?
two. Well, Apocalypse Now's in there, but generally, for I mean, am I wrong though?
Oh no, I'm not
When you say
necessarily saying that
Francis
you're
Ford
wrong as
Coppola,
far as yeah, yeah. Godfather is definitely the first thing that usually comes to most, lay people's minds when you say Francis Ford Coppola. But like
yeah.
for me, it's always
Well,
Apocalypse.
I mean, at least it's not his nephew Nicolas Cage,
Hey, you leave him alone. He's a fine young boy.
but huh. Let's see. Dracula was released by Columbia Pictures, had a $40 million budget, and
Nice.
believe believe it or not, and realistically, most of that $40 million budget probably went to a little bit of practical effects, and then the rest of it filling out the damn cast list for this freaking movie. Because at least the top of the
Yeah.
cast list,
It's
there's some pretty
fucking
big freaking
it's pretty
actor names.
stacked. Yeah, it's pretty fucking stacked. Like
Thankfully, though,
Car- Carrie Ells and
Keanu and Wino Forever and
Winona.
Gary Oldman, Anthony Hopkins, fresh off of
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence. Yeah. The old
So
Sodal.
yeah. Thankfully, though, Dracula recouped all that $40 million and then some with a
I would
whopping
say.
215.9 million dollar box office. If you have not seen Dracula and want to watch it, it is currently streaming on the Paramount Plus, and it is game time. Are you ready to show your expertise, Mr. Chancy Drive?
Uh, okay, well then, I guess do I get the spread since Amanda's not here, or are we still going with the like I gotta
We
do
honestly
either
had this
or?
discussion last week because she went the same way, and she actually nailed um, one of the Rotten Tomato scores
Right?
just in the wrong sense. Just in the wrong sense. But I'll let you have the spread this week since I let her have the spread last week.
Okay. Well, honestly, in my opinion, I really think that they're pretty close together, like as far as uh not necessarily like consecutively like 64, 65 type stuff, but like I remember it being really like critically acclaimed when it came out, as it should have been. But like I also remember like it being a popular amongst, the people who saw it, plus all like, Amanda, I always try to factor in Amanda's equation about the amount of time, since where they were letting people uh review it and shit on the on Rotten Tomatoes and whatnot. Sorry. I'm gonna go the tomato meter. I'll do like uh I'll do like 70. I think that I don't know. Part of me wants okay, I'm gonna go with 70, but I really feel like it's like 75. But I'm gonna go 70 on the tomato meter and then 80 on uh the fan base thing.
So um, you were off by 1% on both meters.
Huh? Wait,
Sixty-nine
like
percent on the tomato meter.
what?
Literally, the tomato meter was 69%, and the popcorn meter was 79%.
That's so dumb. I hate that.
I
S-
I 100% agree.
That's so dumb. I'm so glad that I didn't go with my gut on that one because I would have been so off on the one because I was like, oh yeah, 75. What the
Well, I mean,
fuck?
at the end of the day, it's not like I've seen worse
Oh,
tomato
I've done
meters.
worse.
Well, that too, but
I've
like
been way
even last
off.
even last week's freaking scores for Scream 2 were horrifically wrong.
Really,
Like, well,
I
I
missed
don't
that
remember exactly
episode.
what the numbers were, but um, what the what? There we go. Uh, the I believe fan poll was horrifically low, and the critic score was significantly higher, which totally threw Amanda and I off because at the end of the day, we figured that
It would be the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. And so back to the whole Francis Ford Coppola thing because I keep honestly forgetting to check the comment
Comments.
section, but
That's all right.
one of our awesome listeners chimed in with evidently Francis Ford Coppola chose the project because of wanting to work with Wino Forever.
Hey, I mean, I don't blame him.
Because we do not call her Winona on An Evening at the Movies. It is Wino Forever. It says so on Johnny Depp
Why?
account.
Oh, that's true.
So, um,
See, I would have taken the opportunity to have been like, we will never refer to her as Winona because there will only ever be one Winona, one Winona, and she is the subject of a Primus song.
that works too.
I'm
So,
sorry. I'm back to
no, you're fine.
back to Bram Stoker.
Let's see. In case there are people who don't know, um, in 1462, Vlad Dracula goes off to war, leaving the love of his life, Elizabeta, behind. When false news of Vlad's death reaches Elizabeta, she flings herself out of a castle window, killing herself. Upon his return, Vlad learns of her suicide and is informed by a priest from the church that she will be damned to hell for committing the suicide. An enraged Vlad renounces the church and desecrates the entire church, drinking blood that pours from a skewered crucifix, vowing that he will rise from the grave and avenge Elizabeta with all the powers of darkness. Ultimately, is where we get the entire plot for the movie itself. So, um, like we said a second ago, the cast: Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves, Winona, Anthony Hopkins. Uh, yeah, what's his face from Princess Bride?
Carrie Ells.
Uh, yeah, Tom Waits. The
Yeah.
cast is the freaking. It's one of those all-star casts that definitely cannot go without um, all of that. So, discussion time, Mr.
Yeah.
Chancy Gripe. Are you ready?
What? Oh, I am.
Um, what was it about this movie that you absolutely loved?
Fucking dude, Gary Oldman. Like, I was so mad that Gary Oldman, or Oldman, I should say, fucking didn't receive an Oscar for ever. Like, for fucking ever. I don't even. I'm
So,
pretty sure he got one for
legitimately,
Churchill, though.
oh, I'm sure, but
I think.
legitimately, there actually was a note underneath my list of people from the cast in my notes that said, we will not finish this discussion without referencing the fact at how hard Gary Oldman went especially in that opening scene when he
Oh
loses his
yeah,
fucking shit
right.
after being told by the church that um, his wife's soul is damned to hell and she'll never make it into heaven, and he's renouncing the freaking church and losing his shit. He's literally having an epic Chancy Gripe sized meltdown.
Which I mean, fucking, I really probably would too, considering. I mean, that scenario. Like, I just got told
Yeah,
that the love of my life, who I just found out off herself because like she thought that I died and pulled her like a Juliet. Fuck. Well, Romeo and
yeah.
Juliet, I should say. Like, I'd
Well,
be pretty salty.
yeah, I wouldn't blame him either. I mean, Well, and let's be honest, the freaking Turks that he was doing battle with in the opening scene of that freaking movie are assholes. I mean, let let's fake news his freaking wife and let her think that you know he killed himself or not killed himself, but died in battle.
Right.
I mean, come on, people. Gary Oldman was the shit in that movie. I'm not gonna lie. It's probably one of my top five favorite horror performances of all time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just the way he was able to do that. I mean, there's so much range just literally within that single movie. Just from that single character. It's just it not I mean, like I said, Gary Oldman should have won at least a half a dozen Oscars before actually getting the nod for playing Winston fucking Churchill. I mean, fuck. I mean, not to say that it wasn't a good movie and all that, but like he did such a good job in so many other things. I mean,
Oh
hell,
God, Gary Oldman is the shit.
I would have even accepted like an Oscar nod for that him playing the bad guy in The Sixth Sense. For Christ's sake. But yeah, no, for me that was everyone always talks about like Keanu and the overall overarching everything about it. Like no, for me the entire selling point was Gary Oldman. Like fucking Gary Oldman ain't no goddamn joke.
No, there's a reason why he's one of the true iconic actors in the Hollywood, and this is one of the reasons why. I mean, it's not well. I mean, he's played some of the greatest characters ever in the world, but yeah, the performance he gave in Dracula really set the tone for everything. And on top, I mean, you look at some of the other. I mean, he's played Lee Harvey Oswald in JFK,
Yes, that was also
Dracula,
absolutely brilliant.
um, freaking Sirius Black in the Harry Potter movies. Um, I mean,
I mean, just the
I
extents that
could
he's
sit here
willing
all
to
day and
go.
listen. Oh yeah, and there's so much range in the list of characters that he's played that how can you not appreciate, you know, the greatness that is Gary Oldman.
Right?
So,
Now, what about you though? What was your hard sell point?
for what I loved about this movie,
Yeah.
it was Gary Oldman.
It's nice.
I mean, how can you not? I mean, besides the fact that this movie came out probably I think three, 3 or 4 years after I first read the book. I
Oh
was in like
yeah.
sixth grade, seventh grade when I first read the book, and it definitely was like I told somebody last night on the social media. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Dracula are like my two OG all time favorite horror stories
Like
slash
oh yeah, like
movies.
Really though, not Frankenstein, Frankenstein, or the oh no way, like Doctor the what is it, the Strange and Mysterious Case of Doctor Jekyll and Mister Hyde or whatever it is. Those are solid.
Oh, I fell
Not
in
to
love with
say,
I fell in love with those afterwards, but like I remember growing up with the Disney cartoon version of Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was great.
So that
Old Ichabod.
and that cart and that cartoon messed me up in the head. I mean, that was a very far cry. I remember stuff like, Snow White and Sleeping Beauty and, the Disney quote unquote princesses. And,
Yeah.
then along comes this little short film that literally is like trying to scare the crap out of little kids. And
As they
I
should
think
be.
to a certain extent it achieves that. But, we're not necessarily talking about, you know, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, but there's other versions of said story that have come along over the course of time that, there was a made for TV movie starring Jeff Goldblum that I really loved. There was, um,
Sleepy Hollow.
yeah, the Tim Burton version with everybody's favorite actor Johnny Depp and the
Everybody's favorite
highly
wino.
it was Christina Ricci in that movie.
I know. That was talking about Johnny
So
Depp.
hey, you be nice to Johnny Depp.
What? He likes wine.
Johnny
There's
Depp
nothing wrong with that.
evidently a little bit too much because he gets freaking drunk and beats up cupboard doors and is. We're not going down that road. Um,
I didn't
always
ask you to.
hashtag.
He,
I was ripping off the band-aid and I was slowly starting to walk down that road, and that's not necessarily entirely fair. But no, it 100% my favorite part of this movie is, well, okay, you've got Gary Oldman and the story on top of it because at the same time that if you're coming into, you know, as a 11, 12-year old kid,
right.
who knows horror movies, this isn't going to be your typical horror movie type story. It
Right.
very much has a deep-seated root in, um, well, I mean, for lack of a better term, it's a romantic drama. It
I mean, yeah, in a lot of ways, you are right. It is a romantic thriller.
it's not it's not your typical. It's not Halloween. It's not Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not clearly Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Silent Night, Deadly Night or
Right.
Motel Hell or I just keep throwing out Chancy Gray favorites. Hellraiser.
I I was gonna say, I mean, when you said it's not like Motel Hell, I was like, all right, now come on. I mean, obviously, it's not. We're not comparing this to Motel Hell. Like that's not acceptable.
No, I mean, well, I mean, it's not necessarily fair to say that this movie compares to any of the other movies that I listed off as well. I mean, slasher movies are definitely they fall under the umbrella of horror movies, but is it really? I mean, we've had the discussion before that slasher movies are horror movies, but
Yeah,
horror
I was
can
gonna say
still
they
be perceived
absolutely
as so much
are.
more
They
than
absolutely.
so. Um, the other side of the coin, though, not to get too far off the beaten path, Was there anything about this movie that you absolutely could not stand?
I would say um, the one thing for me that I didn't like was that it kind of drug on a little bit longer than I thought it should have. And I understand that they were trying to do a little like I don't know. I'm not even actually sure what they were trying to pull off with that because I think it was more so that Francis Coppola was he's so used to making all these ridiculously long films that he just kind of
Again, Apocalypse Now, Godfather, Godfather 2, Godfather 3.
right.
None of them are
He's like
short
they won't.
movies.
He's like they won't watch any of my movies if they're not like 4 hours long. If it doesn't have an intermission, they're not going.
Thank. I mean, I love this movie, but thank God this movie wrapped up when it did because I don't know if I could have taken another 15 minutes even of this movie.
Right.
I,
I mean, I love the movie. Don't get me wrong.
oh
Great
yeah,
movie and everything, but yeah, like I was saying, it's just more so the fact of it having drug on as long as it did.
yeah. I For me, probably the one thing that annoys me the most is, and this is my own personal view, especially at the time. Um, I have a hard time getting past thinking, especially in 1992, of thinking of Keanu Reeves as anything else other than Ted Theodore
Right.
LeBlanc.
Right.
And
That's
to,
yeah.
to,
I can see
yeah,
why you
to hear him speak,
in that
like
old English stylish.
it. I won't say it's like fingernails on a chalkboard, but it definitely does not seem natural.
It was gnarly.
I mean, I I I almost kind of sort of felt the same about excuse me, Winona, but at the same time, at least she came from, you know, the whole aspect of she'd already been in Beetlejuice. Um, she fits into that whole weird kind of gothic emo world where at that point in his career came across as like a hot or Southern California like rocker surfer dude kind of guy, and to hear him speak with a highly cultured English accent just really felt weird to me.
I agree. It was slightly off-putting. But yeah, honestly, the length of time really was all for me more so because like like it was long and it kind of got a little too slow in the middle parts, and then all of a sudden like speeds up there at the very end. Like all of a sudden, holy shit, there's fucking Van Helsing, and then here we are. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how
Yeah,
it felt for me personally.
yeah. I think for me the portion. I think once Anthony Hopkins showed up, I think the movie started to definitely pick up the pace a little bit because once you get to that point, you know that it's just we're gonna go. We're gonna start picking up steam. We're gonna have
Yeah,
start heading towards wrapping up the story, but it felt like it took a little bit too long setting the table after that opening scene. Like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
like the opening scene, I will swear on a huge ass freaking stack of Bibles that opening scene was one of my
It's
all
easy.
time
Yeah.
favorite opening
Oh,
scenes
it's
in film history.
exquisite. It's exquisite cinema.
But
As a matter,
then,
yeah, certain fact.
but then once you come out of that opening scene and get in actually into the movie, it feels like for about a half an hour, it really not necessarily grinded to a halt, but it definitely slowed way the hell down. And it's like I get that there's certain parts of storytelling that you have to achieve in the storytelling process, and you have to introduce all the characters and blah 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 and all of that, and that's generally what's going on in that little 30-minute window. And the last real introduction, about a half an hour into the movie, is when Anthony Hopkins shows up, and you get introduced to Van Helsing,
Right.
and then at that point it's bullet coming out of a gun off to the freaking races, and
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean
It's
literally, I
like
mean that's the final scene where
yeah, it's like
racing against
they
time.
realized they got to get, yeah, like
They're on a
they
freaking
realized,
train
oh fuck,
racing to Transylvania while he's on a boat. Who can get to the castle first and stop the other from achieving their life's mission?
right?
So, definitely we're getting close to about that time. So,
Well, before we go there, I do have to say,
uh,
uh, that line that he gives Winona Ryder, with it having been so long since that movie came out, like if I was like fuck, like 15, almost 20 years younger, because that'd put me like what? Yeah, it'd be like 19. That'd put me like 19, 20, walking up to a girl and be like, I have crossed oceans of time to find you. I mean, nowadays people would be looking at you like you're a fucking creeper, unless you find that that proper mindset, that girl with that proper mindset, that fucking super hot goth mommy nonsense. Fucking, that's what's up. I have crossed oceans of time to find you. That's some fucking deep shit, right? That's fucking deep. Anyway,
well,
my
and
apologies.
yeah, 100%. And the only question I can follow up that statement with was, "Is that how you won, girl, Casey?"
Actually, no, that's not. That was kind of one of those things where it was like an accumulation of things, as well as uh like one day when she was on work, I just like hopped in her car and I was like, oh wait, fun fact, I was in choir for 10 years, and then just started singing. And she didn't know that I could sing, so it's like, so it totally threw her off, like, whoa. But yeah, it was a culmination of things, and then also that.
The biographical information you learn about Chancy Grife this week on An Evening at the Movies.
Yeah.
All the questions to how he landed girl Casey. Come for the movie discussion. Stay for the biographical, getting to know Chancy Grife.
Faux show.
So, I mean, that at the same time, though, like you were saying about the whole him being such a suave, quote unquote, smooth ladies man. I
Hardly.
think the other part of my well, I mean, but I think my other favorite part of this is the torment that he was even going through at one point, where he's like willing to turn Winona Ryder's character, but then he's all like,
Yeah.
"No, I can't. I can't let you
Be like
suffer the
me.
same. Yeah, I can't have you do this and end up being tortured the same way that I've been tortured for the last. I think at that point it was like 250 years or 400 years or whatever the hell it was. I don't remember the exact dates, but it definitely adds another deeper rooted, psychological element to the story that
Yeah.
definitely ends up making the story that much better. If you were to rate the movie out of five, Bud, what would you give
I would say I'd say a good solid 4 fucking oceans of time out of
it?
5.
Go figure. Um, yeah, I think 4 out of 5 bleeding crucifixes is definitely a solid ranking for this movie,
For
or
sure.
or
For
even four
sure.
out of five Oceans of Time as well. I mean,
Dude, I'm so stoked that you about Strangeland being for the next week's show cuz like I you remember how fucking intense and like super weird fanboy I got on fucking TCM Next Generation with that Matthew McConaughey and fucking Renee Zellweger shit.
oh Lord,
Yeah, for real, for real. Cause like, dude, I love this movie so much.
and Amanda's already promised that she will watch it twice this week. Once 100% sober and once on a gummy.
Right?
So
I mean,
definitely,
honestly,
we're
I
gonna
don't.
tune in next week
She'll
to.
probably. I hope she likes it, but I kind of think that she will though.
As long as it's not as ridiculously horrific as like everything after like Saw 3 or both Hostel movies or along that
Right?
line.
Even Hostel kind of would get me every now and then a little bit.
Amanda's just not a huge fan of like torture porn type stuff. So
Yep.
there is all that, but we'll get into that next week with um, her when she gets back from whatever the hell it is she's doing this week. But we miss you. We love you. Hurry your ass up and get back to work, please. Um, but as always, we can't end the episode without thanking the listeners for being here each and every week. You guys are incredible. The numbers aren't lying to us. We're doing great numbers each and every week. You guys are liking what we're doing, so we'll keep churning out great content for you guys as long as you guys keep listening. So thank you for being here. Chancy Greif, where can everybody find you on the dark web?
Well, the Red Eye Roundtable on Instagram and TikTok. Red Eye Table on X. You know, that's my first name on Facebook. Good luck if you can find me. I promise you, my profile picture is not an eye, but that'd be cool if it was. It'd make it a lot easier to find me.
What in the hell? Keep talking. I'm curious what the hell your damn profile picture is.
When you see it, you're gonna laugh your ass off because it's one of those things where when you first look at it, it's kind of like, oh, and then you look at it a little bit deeper, and then you're like, oh,
I mean, I've seen it enough that I should. Oh, never mind. I remember what it is now.
yes. It's that I love that combination of high art and you know lowbrow amusement.
Yes. It's no. I'm not gonna help people do their homework for them. If they want to find you on
Yeah,
Facebook, then they're gonna have to do their own damn work. But yeah,
indubitably.
it your profile picture on Facebook is definitely something that is very fitting of you.
I know, right?
So, mm, let's see. What do we've got? Um, some more stuff coming up. A couple more episodes coming up of Halloween Horror Fest, and then we will be moving on to November. And the theme that Amanda picked was John Grisham movies, so we're calling November Thanks Grisham month, where we'll be talking about.
That's funny.
um, like I promised everybody though on the social medias, um, I have the lineup, not necessarily the order, but we'll be talking about Runaway Jury, The Client, Pelican Brief, and God damn it, Tom Cruise is returning to an evening at the movies. And we'll be talking about The Firm.
Oh yeah, the
So,
firm, right?
The Firm. Um, but I digress. Let's see. I think that just about covers it. This was lots of fun, sir.
Well, thank
I,
you. It's always a
I,
pleasure.
I think we should do this again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Indubitably, I concur.
So we will be back here more than likely, probably unless the co-host has an issue with the time, same bat channel. And I guess because she's not here, I will do her job for her. So thank you, Chancy, for being here. Thank you, listeners, for being here with us each and every week. And at the end of the day, we hope you guys all come back for an evening at the movies. We will see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Deuces.